In the headlines for this hour on VTV News, Prime Minister pushes for faster progress of 500 kilovolt Circuit 3 transmission line. Empower Development Plan for 2021-2050 approved. In our war news, World Bank sees growth in developing Asia-Pacific countries.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. Prime Minister Phie Minh chaired a teleconference with ministries, agencies, localities, and units on Monday to foster the progress of the 500 kilovolt Circuit 3 power transmission line. The line links Quảng Trạch in the central province of Quảng Bình and Phú Nối in the northern province of Hưng Yên, much of Phalaw.
The nearly 520-kilometer-long line has an investment capital of over $929 million. It's a key project playing a crucial role in the country's energy security. After listening to reports of ministries, sectors, and localities, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh praised the joint efforts of localities where the line passes through, Vietnam Electricity (EVN), related ministries, and units. He also praised EVN and the National Power Transmission Corporation for overcoming difficulties and contractors for working hard to speed up the project progress, as well as the participation of enterprises. He also thanked local people for giving their residential and farming land for the project. As such, the project has ensured its progress to be able to be completed by June 20th this year. He requested localities to continue reviewing and proactively resolving obstacles for the project implementation.
We all agree on this important role of this project, so we must be all determined to implement it. Difficulties must be resolved in the authorization of each unit. We must strive to complete this project by June 20th this year and put it into operation by June 30th at the latest. Ministries, sectors, localities should work closely together to ensure its progress and quality. It's also important to ensure the progress of handing over the land for EVN and build the legal framework for compensation in order to finish the compensation by April 10th and ensure people's interests.
The Prime Minister said that due to difficulties such as high electric poles, complex terrain and geological conditions, and the upcoming hot weather in the central region, related units must carefully pay attention to ensuring labor safety and preventing negativity and corruption. He requested ministries, branches, units, and localities to overcome obstacles and work hard to complete the project in accordance with the schedule.
The National Assembly Standing Committees opened its lawmaking discussion on Monday under the leadership of National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ. The committee discussed several critical issues to be presented at the upcoming 7 sessions of the National Assembly.
Addressing the meeting, the National Assembly chairman noted that 10 law projects are slated to be presented at the 7th session of the National Assembly. The Standing Committee discusses 5 of them at this sitting. The National Assembly chairman required related agencies to urgently prepare documents on those law projects. In terms of the draft amended law on notarization, deputies proposed specifying conditions and criteria in managing and establishing notary practice organizations.
According to the law on planning, only planning of electricity is still under management. Therefore, there is no longer a master plan for developing notary practice organizations. The Ministry of Justice should promulgate legal documents in this field. First of all, standards and criteria for establishing notary practice offices. Similar other services, no planning does not mean there is no management, but the management is done by other methods.
We strongly agree with the suggestion of the National Assembly chairman. The state still has to manage this by setting conditions and criteria. If it is determined to be a type of business, it'll operate under market rules. As the economy develops, there are more transactions that need to be notarized. If only 1 to 2 notary offices are allowed to be established, it will immediately create a monopoly.
there have been regulation on notary practice offices. However, those regulations are still unclear. They do not specify how many offices are suitable for socio-economic development, population density, and the demand for notarization. There should be clearer regulations on those aspects.
The National Assembly Standing Committee also gave opinions on the law on people's air defense, the draft amended law on prevention and combat of human trafficking, the draft resolution on employment positions for its members and those under its management.
During her visit to Japan, Politburo member Trương Thị Mai, permanent member of the Party Central Committee Secretariat, chairwoman of the Party Central Committee Organization Commissions, and head of the Vietnam-Japan Friendship Parliamentarians Group, and meetings with vice chairmen of the ruling Liberal Democratic Party of Japan, Aso Taro, Secretary General of the Liberal Democratic Party of Japan, and the governor of Wakayama Prefecture. At the meetings, the Vietnamese party official affirmed that Vietnam attaches great importance to the comprehensive strategic partnership with Japan. She also said Vietnam is ready to coordinate with Japan to promote activities to further promote the relationship according to the joint statement issued late last year. The Japanese party and local leaders affirmed that Japan always identified Vietnam as an important partner in regions. They also said that Japan will work with the party and state of Vietnam to improve the effectiveness of all corporations in all fields. Deputy Prime Minister Trần Ông Hà had just signed a decision to approve the Power Development Plan for 2021-2030 with a vision to 2050. Accordingly, relevant agency will develop a roadmap to meet the set goals of the National Power Development Plan 8. This plan provides localities and functional agencies with a list of important power projects and the industry investment priorities until 2030. In addition, it is expected that Vietnam will import about 5,000 megawatts of electricity from Laos, which can increase to 8,000 megawatts when favorable conditions are met. Also, according to the plan, Vietnam will continue to make a strong transition from fossil fuels to new energy sources and renewable energy to reduce pollution and emissions, striving for the target to achieve net zero by 2050. On Monday, concluding the meeting to remove devotees in construction materials for the Ho Chi Minh City Ring Road 3 project, Deputy Prime Minister Trần Ông Hà requested ministries and the city authorities to urgently review the project's sand supply capacity. He also called for a plan for the applications of the mechanism approved by the National Assembly to ensure the project progress. The Deputy Prime Minister also requested ministries and local authorities to announce the result of the pilot program using sea sand as construction material. If successful, sea sand will immediately be used, solving difficulties in materials for the Ring Road 3 project. Ho Chi Minh City gross regional domestic product (GRDP) increased by less than 1% in the first quarter of 2023. However, the city's economy has witnessed positive changes in the first quarter of this year, with GRDP growth rate reaching 6.54%. This is a high increase compared to the target and previous forecast, and has been the highest since 2020.
Ho Chi Minh City's domestic budget revenue in the first quarter of 2024 reached over $4.56 billion, an increase of more than 20% year-on-year. Budget collection from the economic sector accounted for more than 64%.
The real estate sector had significant growth compared to 2023. Besides, tourism, accommodation, and dining services also surged against 2023.
Meanwhile, the city's industrial production index increased by 5.1% over the same period last year. Some of the city's key industrial and service sectors are recovering, contributing positively to the overall growth.
Many businesses and sectors such as furniture, textiles, and garments which face difficulties have received orders for the second quarter, third quarter, and the whole year.
In the first quarter of last year, Ho Chi Minh City's GRDP growth was at only 0.6%. Since the end of 2023, the city has deployed drastic solutions to promote growth, focusing on facilitating public investment and supporting businesses to recover the production and business.
We have boosted private investment by removing obstacles for sectors that we've identified since the beginning of this year, especially the real estate sector.
Ho Chi Minh City is aiming for this year's growth rate of 7.5 to 8%. Experts say that the city's GDP growth in the first quarter will be the foundation to create a premise for growth in the following quarters.
Vietnam is experiencing rapid growth in modern payment methods such as cashless and e-commerce payments. Among these, QR code payments stand out, it gaining popularity and is widely used, as evidenced by the prevalence of QR codes. This method is expected to further strengthen with the introduction of multifunctional QR codes later this year.
At a local market in a northern province, QR codes are displayed at the checkout counter of a small shop. Customers no longer need to carry wallets for shopping, all they need is a smartphone. With a banking payment application on their smartphone, they are ready to shop.
Shopping is much more convenient with QR codes. I can pay for items without fear of losing money.
For sellers like us, the QR code payment method has become a great assistant. In the past, I had to carry cash while importing products from other localities. Miscalculations were inevitable. Now, I can quickly pay for products. As for my customers, the vast majority of them pay by QR codes. Payments are made so quickly that I have time to serve other customers.
The State Bank of Vietnam has released data confirming that the number of QR code payments in Vietnam reached nearly 183 million transactions by the end of 2023. This represents an increase of more than 170% in quantity and over 74% in value compared to the previous year.
I find payment by QR code to be very convenient. I don't have to carry cash or cards anymore. The only thing I need is a phone and an internet connection. That is a great benefit when using the service.
Customers mostly use cashless payment methods now. I see only a few of them paying in cash. These methods facilitate quick payments, and we can check for payment just as quickly.
The State Bank of Vietnam projections indicate substantial growth in cashless payments by 2024. In January, payment transactions using QR codes saw an increase of 893% in quantity and over 1,000% in value compared to the same period the previous year.
Coming up next on VTV News, Lâm Đồng has rain after months of hot weather. A Vietnam Global Leaders Forum kicks off in Paris. Lâm Đồng province received heavy rain on Monday, quenching the thirst after a month of hot and dry weather. The heavy rains lasted for 3 hours. Due to the large amount of rain, many areas experienced local flooding. Monday rain has made local people extremely happy because Lâm Đồng and the Central Highlands have had no rain for many months. The prolonged hot weather led to water shortages in many areas, affecting people's daily life and production. About 200 delegates will attend the ASEAN Future Forum 2024 that is scheduled to take place in Hanoi on April 22nd. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced at a press briefing in Hanoi on April 1st. The forum, themed toward fast and sustainable growth of a people-centered ASEAN community, will bring together senior leaders of ASEAN countries and partners, representatives of international organizations, as well as leading regional and world scholars. The initiative, put forward by Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính at the 43rd ASEAN Summit in Indonesia last September, aims to create a forum for ASEAN member countries, partners, and other stakeholders to contribute to promoting and shaping the future development path for ASEAN. Many localities in Vietnam are moving towards the development of organic agriculture. Taking advantage of nature, climate, and soil, farmers are proactively changing their method by applying modern technologies and organic productions. This results in added value for their products and attract more consumers. Join us as we delve into this story in Dong Nai province.
The Tan True brand's Orangello variety has established its own geographical indications. These fruits are organically grown. In addition, local farmers have joined cooperative groups to secure better selling prices.
Each region has different soil conditions. Tan True is blessed with the alluvial soils of the Dong Nai River system. These soil conditions are suitable for Orangello. If this variety is planted in other places, it will still grow, but it will be less productive and efficient.
Many renowned fruit brands are the joint creation of local farmers and businesses. They have adopted a new method for trademark registration and trade protection. As a result, these farmers collaborate to guarantee large-scale organic production safely. They refrain from using chemical fertilizers that could damage the soil.
Farmers' associations and unions create a sales chain for local products. A community tourism village will be established for farmers to promote their products, aiming to increase their income.
We have different plans that are suitable for each type of soil, plant, and animal. This model will be applied to all communes in the province.
The province's agriculture sector is notable for its use of natural advantages to establish numerous typical agricultural models. Across the province, there are 80 organic production models under construction. These span nearly 1,500 hectares of crops and include 23,700 livestock.
More than 100 Vietnamese intellectuals and global experts from different countries gathered at Vietnam Global Leaders Forum held on March 30th and 31st in Paris, France. The forum aims to harness collective intelligence, mobilize resources, and unleash the full potential of young Vietnamese talent. This is part of a long-term strategy to connect Vietnamese intellectuals globally and cultivate a thriving country amid evolving landscapes.
With the theme Vietnam Thriving in Change, Vietnam Global Leaders Forum kicked off with a two-day meeting. Hundreds of Vietnamese experts and influential business leaders gathered here to discuss joint solutions for the country's future development.
The forum serves as a platform which talented Vietnamese individuals share their ideas and put forward effective solutions for the country's development. Based on reports and proposals featuring multidimensional perspectives, AVSC Global want to work with the Vietnamese government in creating policies oriented to the country's development.
Global experts from different fields such as economics, culture, computer science, and environment exchanged their ideas at the forum. They expected to carry out more projects in Vietnam, helping the country thrive in a turbulent geopolitical era.
We are planning to organize Sustainable Vietnam Forum in October this year. During this forum, we will address major issues such as how Vietnam's banking system would contribute to the country's green economy more effectively. We will also discuss how the carbon credit market works and how Vietnam should learn from other countries to develop the domestic carbon market.
The forum aims to create a global Vietnamese community of distinguished talents who are dedicated to building a more prosperous and innovative Vietnam.
Hải Phòng authorities set out to turn the coastal city into one of the largest tourist hubs in Vietnam from 2020 to 2025. To achieve this goal, Cat Ba Archipelago aims to develop high-end resort tourism characterized by typical local products and eco-friendly environment.
Cat Ba Archipelago boasts clean beaches and a healthy ecosystem with good preservation of biodiversity. To protect the environment, farmers wish to use non-plastic aquaculture gears for aqua farming. The green destination has left a lasting impression on foreign tourists.
The landscape is really beautiful, and I think it's got beautiful geology, and the scenery and the water's so blue, and it's just lovely.
Boasting more than 350 limestone islands of various shapes, Cat Ba Archipelago was recognized as a World Natural Heritage Site in September 2023. Thanks to effective environmental protection measures, Cat Ba Archipelago has attracted more than 400,000 visitors in the first 3 months of this year.
Cat Ba Archipelago has become greener and cleaner. Residents are now more friendly and hospitable to visitors, as local community awareness is increased.
To attract tourists during summer, Cat Ba authorities recently organized a festival marking the 65th anniversary of President Ho Chi Minh's visit to Cat Hai district.
We have mapped out a plan to increase strategic investors' engagement. We are also cooperating with the Ha Long Bay Management Board to develop interregional tourism and offer training for on-site human resources.
Cat Ba authorities have focused on developing interregional tourism routes. The locality is expected to receive 3,600,000 tourist arrivals this year.
Coming up next in our world news, World Bank sees growth in developing Asia-Pacific countries. And Italy iconic kiosk crushed by falling newspaper sales. Trade recovery will allow developing Asia-Pacific countries, excluding China, to grow by 4.6% this year, faster than the 4.4% they managed in 2023, the World Bank said in an economic report released on Monday. It also forecasts that China's economy will grow 4.5% in 2024 and 4.3% in 2025. Amid China's weakened property sector and domestic consumption, attempts to rebalance investment from infrastructure and real estate to advanced manufacturing may create an imbalance between manufacturing capacity and demand within and outside China. The World Bank also estimates that developing Asia industrial output growth would decline by half a percentage point if the U.S. experiences an unexpected resurgence of inflation and an extended increase in interest rate. Business confidence among major Japanese manufacturers worsened for the first time in 4 quarters, the Bank of Japan announced on Monday. According to the Bank of Japan's quarterly Takant survey published on Monday, the headline diffusion index among large manufacturers was put a plus 11 for the January to March quarter, compared to plus 13 in the October to December quarter. Confidence among automakers fell sharply to 13 from 28, reflecting production disruptions caused by a safety scandal involving Toyota Motor Corporation Group company. The closely watched survey comes after the Bank of Japan in March went ahead with the first interest rate hike since 2007, ending its unorthodox monetary easing steps aimed at bringing an end to deflation. South Korea President Yoon Suk-yeol vowed Monday not to back down in the face of vehement protests by doctors seeking to derail his plan to increase medical schools admissions, as he called their walkdowns and illegal collective actions. In a nationally televised address, President Yoon Suk-yeol said adding 2,000 medical students in the minimum increase needed to address a shortage of physicians in rural areas. He urged striking doctors to return to work, saying they have a responsibility to protect people's lives in line with the local medical law. He also said the government remains open to talks if doctors comes up with an unified proposals that adequately explain their calls for a much smaller increase in the medical schools enrollment quota. About 13,000 medical interns and residents in South Korea have been on strike for 6 weeks, causing hundreds of canceled surgery and other treatments at university hospitals. According to a statistic, 2/3 of Italy's new kiosks have closed down over the past 2 decades, leaving only around 12,000 in business today. The Italian Chamber of Commerce said in a recent report that in the last 4 years alone, 2,700 kiosks had closed, a drop of 16% nationwide. At the heart of the crisis lies in the plunge in newspaper sales, which represent the bulk of kiosk revenues in Italy. More to follow.
Fabiano Pompei's family has run a news kiosk close to Rome's imposing St. John Lateran Basilica since 1948. It used to be a thriving business, but a prolonged slump in newspaper sales has forced Pompei to pull down his metal shutters for one last time, like thousands of other kiosk owners across Italy.
It wasn't just about buying the newspaper, but it was also a way of opening up to people and talking about everything else. That's what people liked. That's what I wanted, for people to come here not to pick up the paper and leave, but to stop and have a chat.
While editors can hope to prop up their sinking revenues by shifting readers online, the kiosk owners are having a much tougher time reinventing themselves. Stefano Di Pesio runs a kiosk in the center of Rome. He used to sell hundreds of papers each day.
Print media and publishing is almost over. Earnings are the same as they were 30 years ago, but with prices that have quadrupled. Everything costs more, but you still earn the same. Copy sales have dropped dramatically, and in my opinion, and this is an optimistic prediction, in 20 years there will be no more newspapers.
Honestly, I was used to buying newspapers because they contained inserts, for example, on Thursdays or Sundays. Unfortunately or not, over time print media will disappear. Now I read everything online.
The Italian government is offering incentives this year worth up to €2,000 to try to halt the hemorrhage, but kiosk owners say the cash will only provide a short-term balm and do nothing to solve long-term trends. For many residents, the kiosks were cement that helped hold their communities together, places to gossip about politics, soccer, and the latest price rises.
And now let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's this for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch the program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download our mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.